Well, there are two players that Arsenal has been linked to. And who are those? We are talking about Barcola and Rodrigo. Now, these two deals look like they won't happen. Why? This is why I'm here this morning to obviously come up with this beautiful story about Barcola and Rodrigo to Arsenal transfers off in the summer transfer window. Smash the like button, comment and share. If at all you're watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. And please subscribe. You know, before we hit 30, we have to hit the magic number of 29. And let me check. How many subscribers are we less to hit 29,000 subscribers? So we are left with just, is it 500? So please, we are having 449. We're having 28,449 in there. So please, if we really, if we get 51 today, we will be hitting 28,500 and we'll be really walking that journey of 500 to obviously hit 29. So please do the needful and really subscribe, and the rest will be history. Now, when we talk about left forwards, the list of Arsenal keeps surging. That is it. And on the list, we have Kvaratskhelia, we have Anthony Gordon, we have Rafael Leao, we have Barcola, we have Rodrygo. You get? So far, those are the 5-6 names that are really making rounds very, very well. Now, as we speak right now, Barcola and Rodrigo, one of those was supposed to sign for the club of Arsenal, and Arsenal were already charging up to obviously bring one of those at the club. But something has gone ahead to happen to each of them. And let me start off with Barcola, a man who went ahead to obviously show his class into that encounter against Chelsea. Is one of those that I tell you is not obviously going to be part of the Arsenal plans. Why? I'm going to come there in a few. Barcola was one of those players that really scored, you know, in London. You know that very well. In London, you know exactly what happened in there for you. In London, he scored the second goal out of the 3 that PSG beat Chelsea. And Arsenal very much want players who obviously torment their rivals in there for you. Not so? So, if Arsenal really loves players that really torment their neighbors, you know, it would have gone ahead to be one of those signings that would really act like a thorn in the skin of Chelsea. You get? So that's Barcola if he really signed for the club of Arsenal. And indeed, even in the game that Chelsea suffered a 5-2 loss to PSG, Barcola was one of those that really opened up the scoreline. In the 10th minute, Barcola put PSG ahead. So, he's that player that you knew that it's really going to be hard for the side of PSG to keep. And when you look at all signs on how Arsenal is really thriving, the moment they win the Premier League or the Champions League, they'll attract more players to their side, because the Premier League is the most watched league in the world, and players will obviously want to obviously come to the Premier League. That is it. Unless otherwise, no Premier League team really wants them. And in the UEFA Champions League, those were his first 2 goals he scored. He has 2 goals and 3 assists. That is Barcola for you. Now, bad news dropped in on the desk of PSG and Arsenal, and obviously it was all about Barcola suffering severe ligament sprain on his right ankle during match versus Chelsea. He's said to be unavailable for the coming weeks. PSG have gone ahead to confirm Barcola will also miss France's call. Now, Barcola has gone ahead to get an injury, and the extent of the injury will determine whether Arsenal breaks the bank to obviously bring him on, or Arsenal continues to obviously look otherwise. You get? I've gone ahead to look out for this spring, and this is what they've gone ahead to tell me about this injury, which is called the ligament spring. A ligament spring is a stretched or torn ligament, the fibrous tissue connecting bones at a joint, caused by falling, twisting, or impact. Common in ankles and knees. Symptoms include pain, swelling, bruising, and limited mobility. Treatment typically involves the Rice method, etc. Now, they've told us that grade 1, it's slight stretching and microscopic tearing, mild pain and swelling. Grade 2, moderate, partial tearing of the ligament, moderate pain, swelling, and potential instability. Grade 3 is severe, complete tear or rupture of the ligament, significant pain, swelling, and joint instability. Now, when you hear all that, you get? When you hear all that, you have to ask yourself, you get? What grade is Barcola? You get? So, and they're telling us that recovery, minor sprains can heal in a few weeks. Now, we wait to see, is it a minor sprain? If it's a minor sprain, then he returned very early. If it's a grade 3, it may take 2 to 3 months or longer. Now, if it's a grade 3, this is where Arsenal obviously says, we aren't going for you. Obviously, I cannot recommend a team to obviously see a player who is obviously to sign a player because this is March. If Barcola is to spend 3 months out, that means June 20th will be his return. He won't be playing the World Cup, right? And then you risk your money to sign him, you know? So I think the injury is a big blocking factor to this. But if Barcola beats that time frame and returns and plays in the remaining games and features in the World Cup, I think then Arsenal will obviously have a chance to obviously talk with him and obviously say, you are really good at healing. But he's not an injury-prone player, that's it. Barcola has never been an injury-prone player, I must tell you. So, from there, we obviously hint onto the last bit of this, that it's a blessing disguise for PSG. PSG doesn't want to lose any of its players this coming summer. But if an injury like this comes in through and the player is really injured, then it limits the chances of him leaving the club, you know, known as PSG. So we wait and see how things pan out. But all I want to tell you is that Barcola's transfer to Arsenal is in danger. That is it. Totally in danger because of the injury that he got. And very many clubs don't want to sign injured players. In their all players who are really coming in through from an injury. However much they conduct a medical, but they're like risking themselves in there for you. And the records of that particular injury on a player, if it's recurring, they're like, no way, you know? And even if you have different injuries that really keep you out for long, the clubs will be like, we are taking you nowhere. That is it. So guys, that is it for Barcola. And let's go to the guy known as Rodrygo. Now, for Rodrygo, my dear guys, if there is a player I would like to see in the Premier League tearing it apart, it's Rodrygo, you know? And it's not only Arsenal that we are interested in Rodrygo. It's the same applies to a player known as Barcola, because Manchester United was in, Manchester United was in, Man City was in, Liverpool was in, Arsenal was in, Chelsea was in. Now, that shows you the quality of a player. You get, if the player is that good, then teams will come out for him. You know, that shows you exactly how good the player is. You get? That shows you how good the player is. You get? And indeed, he is the guy. And we just have to really admit that a lot is really coming, maybe. But Rodrigo got an ACL injury, and the report we are getting in from Real Madrid has told us that undergoing surgery too soon could worsen Rodrigo's injury. You know, he will be out for 10 to 12 months. If he's back towards the earlier end of the time frame, it will be a victory. Now, for Rodrigo, it's totally off. His transfer to Arsenal is totally off. I know how the guy who is really engineering transfers at Arsenal, who goes by names of Andre Bata, wanted to sign this guy badly. You understand? He badly wanted to sign Rodrigo. You understand? And in the due course of wanting badly to sign Rodrigo, obviously, we are having this nightmare for the club of Arsenal. He's a player that perfect suits that left forward role. You know, the only player that is really ahead of him in hierarchy is obviously one, and you know him very well. And what's his name? It is Kvaratskhelia. Out of all those names you've gone ahead to put out, no one can really beat Kvaratskhelia. You get? But when you look at a guy like Rodrigo, I think he would have gone ahead to come in here and obviously light up what we call the Premier League. But he's going to be out for close to a year. Arsenal fans, you know this very well. You know, Gabriel Jesus went ahead to obviously get an ACL injury. And you know the longevity. And you know how long it really kept him out. Not so? So, if you know how long it really kept him out, then no doubt for this particular guy who goes by the names of Rodrigo. And there is no way Arsenal can go ahead to spend huge, you get, on a player like him, you get, when he's really injured. And it's really, it doesn't need anything like rocket science or really to think a lot about Rodrigo, that if a player is going to be really spending a year without kicking the ball, then why should a club obviously go in for him? And for Real Madrid, as I've told you on PSG, it's a blessing in disguise because the player is really very, very, very important to them. And their season is also having problems because if you don't have Rodrigo with you, you are like limited a little bit, you get? But for the manager, I think it eases the pressure because Rodrigo is not that kind of player that you can easily bench. It's hard to bench Rodrigo, I must tell you. Very, 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 very hard to bench Rodrigo in there for you. So, for the manager and the club of Real Madrid, you know, at least the manager is really getting a little bit of ease from the pressure, you know, and I really understand what they are going in through. But your thoughts onto Barcola deal hanging in balance and that of Rodrigo completely off to Arsenal are welcome in the comment section below. Rokani David remains my name. First video of the day, and you know what it is when you obviously get in an early morning charge. It means it's gonna be what we call a marathon, coming in through, dropping video after video as we gear up for the Carabao Cup finale that is going to be played on Sunday. Arsenal versing a team called Manchester City at Wembley. I'm out.